In 1993, a shocking case rocked Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. A young woman became the victim of a violent crime. Parts of her were found in different locations along the street. Her face was badly damaged, so authorities couldn't identify her at first. To help figure out who she was, the police released a photo of her face, despite the severe damage. The photo quickly made headlines, sparking a huge public reaction, with many calling it one of the most disturbing images of the time. In an unexpected twist, the breakthrough that led to her identification came from a surprising detail, a unique characteristic of her body.
If you want ordinary, look elsewhere. Welcome to TC Channel, where other channels fall short, unique mysteries solved step by step.
On the afternoon of July 8, 1993, in the upscale Tunku Hill neighborhood of Kuala Lumpur, a sanitation worker was cleaning the lawn when he came across two black plastic bags hidden in the grass. This caught his attention, since the neighborhood was known for being quiet, clean, and home to some of the wealthiest people, including Malaysia's founding father, Tunku Abdul Rahman. Curious, he opened one of the bags, only to find something disturbing inside. The worker immediately alerted the authorities, and the police quickly arrived to investigate. They searched the area thoroughly, and discovered more bags nearby, each containing parts of a human body. The police speculated that the bags were likely thrown from a moving vehicle, since the body parts were scattered in different locations. A forensic analysis confirmed that all the parts came from the same woman, around 30 years old. However, the head was still missing, so the police couldn't identify the victim. The area was sealed off, and a wider search began. 3 days later, on July 11th, the police finally located the rest, including the head. Unfortunately, due to the passage of time and the heat, the body had decayed considerably, and the head was unrecognizable. The remains provided no clues to the woman's identity, and a strong odor lingered around the scene, making the examination challenging. To help identify the victim, the police called in an artist named Amaruddin to create a portrait based on the skull. Despite the difficult conditions, Amaruddin spent 4 hours working on the drawing, and successfully completed the sketch. The police then published the sketch along with photos of the body parts, asking the public for help. The image quickly caught public attention, with many finding it deeply unsettling. It became one of the most talked about cases in Malaysia at the time. The experience left a lasting emotional impact on Amaruddin. He felt physically unwell throughout the process, and after the incident, he developed a strong aversion to meat, eventually deciding to become a vegetarian. Luckily, the artist's hard work paid off. Not long after, a tipster who had seen the news contacted the police. It was a woman who rented out rooms. She said her tenant had been missing for several days, and that she looked a lot like the woman in the police sketch. The police rushed to the address the landlord gave them. When they got there, everything matched what the landlord had said. The door was locked, and the apartment was empty. The police broke in, and inside they found several professional-looking photos. The woman in the photos was beautiful and had an elegant presence. She looked strikingly similar to the woman in the sketch. To confirm if the tenant was the victim, the police started searching the apartment. They found a note with an address written on it. Following that lead, the police contacted the missing woman's sister, Kai Shindi. On July 20th, Kai Shindi went to the police station to identify the body. Even though the body was badly decomposed, Kai Shindi immediately recognized her sister, Kai Yusi. She broke down in tears. The police were confused. The body was in such bad shape, even experts couldn't confirm who it was. How could Kai Shindi, an ordinary worker, be so sure of the identity of the body? Was her judgment sharper than that of seasoned professionals? Or did she already know something about the case? Could she have been involved? At first, when the police questioned her, Kai Shindi hesitated and didn't want to share what she knew. But when she saw the suspicion in their eyes, she got nervous, and eventually told them the truth. She explained, the reason she was so sure the victim was her sister, Kai Yusi, was because her sister had a very specific grooming habit. Kai Shindi went on, saying that Kai Yusi was 30 years old, and worked in the entertainment industry, where she was a well-known performer. Her job required her to wear revealing outfits, so she had to be extra careful to avoid any wardrobe malfunctions. This grooming habit became the key to identifying her. Once the DNA test results came back, the police confirmed they were indeed family. This meant that the victim was definitely Kai Yusi. It was a major breakthrough, but the police couldn't help feeling conflicted. It was hard to match the vibrant, happy images of Kayusi with the cold, lifeless body they found. Everyone knew that her young life had been tragically cut short that summer. Kaishimi shared that her sister's life had been full of struggles. The 5 siblings grew up in poverty and had to work from a young age to survive. Kayusi dropped out of school early, left her hometown in Kota Baru, and moved to Kuala Lumpur to find work, just getting by. Things started to improve a little for her, but then she ended up in the wrong situation. At 23, Kayusi met her ex-husband, Hichinkun, and they had 2 kids together, but their marriage didn't last. To support her children, she worked multiple part-time jobs. Because she was always so busy, she had to rely on kaishindi or daycare to care for the kids. While working as a seamstress, she met other performers who brought her into the entertainment world, where she gained some local fame. Her income improved, and her life began to get better, even getting offers to perform in other cities. Just a few days before her death, Kaishindi found a note from her sister, saying that Kayusi was planning a trip to Penang with friends, and would be back in about 10 days. She was looking forward to seeing her sister again when she returned, but that would be their last chance to meet. While the police felt sympathy for the loss, they also knew that finding the killer would be difficult. With Kayusi's complex social life, it was going to be a huge challenge to figure out who was responsible. Just when things were at a standstill, Kaishindi came forward with a crucial lead. She told the police that her sister had been close to a man named Yan Weisheng. However, this man was already married, and his wife had some past issues with Kayoshi. This immediately grabbed the police's attention, and they began focusing on Yan Weisheng and his wife. But then, out of nowhere, Yan Weisheng showed up at the police station by himself. At 33, Yan had a calm, polished look, with glasses that made him seem intellectual. He handed over a note that Kayoshi had left him, which was exactly the same as the one Kaishindi had gotten. Under questioning, Yan Weisheng admitted to being more than just friends with Kayoshi, which is why she left him that note. He couldn't believe that Kayoshi, who was supposed to be in Penang, had been killed in Kuala Lumpur. The police quickly theorized that Donggu Mountain wasn't the crime scene, just the spot where the body was disposed of. So, did Kayoshi really die in Penang? At this point, the police noticed that both Yan Weisheng and Kaishindi received the note around July 10th. But the body had been found as early as July 8th. This meant that Yan couldn't have received the note after Kayoshi's death. So, the person who sent the note wasn't Kayoshi, but likely the killer. Digging deeper, the police learned that Yan Weisheng was Malaysian and didn't speak any foreign languages. So how could Kayoshi have left him a note in a foreign language? And why didn't he find that strange? With everything pointing in one direction, the police suspected Yan Weisheng had deliberately misled them about Penang. Slowly, the truth started to unfold, and it seemed like Yan Weisheng had planned everything from the start. He sent the note to delay Kaishindi from discovering her sister's death. By showing the note, he tried to throw the police off track. The police wasted no time, showing Yan Weisheng a photo that had rocked Malaysia. Though he tried to cover it up, his nervous look and avoiding eyes gave him away. The police arrested him on the spot, and he confessed, admitting to killing Kayoshi and disposing of her body. It all starts with the moment when Yan Weisheng and Kayusi first met. At that time, Kayusi had just started working as a performer. She didn't feel good about the job, thinking it wasn't very respectable. She felt like she had to rely on her looks to make money. But she also believed that having a skill could help her build her reputation quickly and gain more fans. Through a friend's introduction, she met Yan Weisheng, a piano teacher, and began learning the piano from him. During their time together, Yan Weisheng's gentle and kind nature deeply attracted Kayusi. Kayusi's charm also left a strong impression on him. The two of them quickly became close. Having gone through a failed marriage, Kayusi had been raising 2 children on her own for 7 years. Living in a foreign country was tough, and she longed for a stable relationship. She dreamed of having a happy family. After they got together, Kayusi often imagined their life together after marriage, her eyes full of hope. However, Yan Weisheng always stayed silent. He came from a highly educated background, had studied theology in Singapore, and even worked as a short-term missionary. His family would never accept a relationship with someone like Kayusi, whose career as a performer didn't meet their standards. So, marrying Kayusi was never an option for him. Kayusi understood the pressure of reality, but she still believed in him. She believed their feelings could overcome societal norms, that sincerity could change people's minds, and that persistence would eventually lead to happiness. But 3 months ago, Yan Weisheng shattered her dreams. He married someone his family had arranged for him, and broke up with Kaiusi. Kaiusi was heartbroken, but she couldn't let go of the man she loved. Instead of leaving, she tried to win back his heart with their sweet memories together. She asked him to divorce his wife, but Yan Weisheng was tired of her persistence. He had already lost interest in her, and the marriage his family had arranged was too perfect to abandon. Plus, his wife was pregnant. There was no reason for him to leave her for Kaiusi. That night, Kaiusi met Yan Weisheng at his apartment, hoping to rekindle their romance. They ended up being intimate again. Afterward, Kaiusi asked him once more to divorce his wife and marry her. Yan Weisheng firmly rejected her and insisted on breaking up. His coldness drove Kaiusi into a frenzy. She lost control of her emotions, rushed into the kitchen, and grabbed a knife, threatening to hurt his wife. In the struggle, the knife accidentally cut Yan Weisheng. He had reached his breaking point. Anger overtook him, and in a moment of rage, he grabbed the knife and stabbed Kaiusi in the chest. She stopped breathing, and only then did he realize what he had done. Afterward, Yan Weisheng quickly cleaned up the scene, disposed of her body, and left it near Donggu Mountain. Once that was done, he forged 2 letters, one addressed to Kai Xind, and the other he kept for himself, hoping to mislead the police with the fake evidence. But his plan backfired. The forged evidence eventually exposed his crime. From December 13th to 15th, 1993, the first part of the trial took place. Yan Weisheng was facing murder charges, and was held in custody while awaiting the next phase of the trial. He was getting ready for the second round of hearings. Then, on February 28, 1994, the case took an unexpected turn. The prosecution decided to change the charge from murder to manslaughter, which meant Yan Weisheng would avoid the death penalty and face a sentence of up to 20 years. In court, Yan Weisheng's lawyer presented a written statement in an effort to reduce his sentence. The statement highlighted the significant emotional distress Kaiusi had caused him over the years, as well as the events leading up to that fateful day. This kind of appeal was very unusual in legal cases. The lawyer argued that the defendant had killed the victim by mistake. Even though the prosecution argued that Yan Weisheng had acted deliberately, trying to hide the truth, the court still ruled manslaughter. As a result, Yan Weisheng received a 15-year prison sentence. However, Yan Weisheng wasn't happy with the decision, and decided to appeal. On December 3, 1994, the higher court reduced his sentence from 15 years to 12 years. Additionally, Yan Weisheng was ordered to pay 1,000 ringgit in compensation to the victim's family, or serve 1 year in prison instead. After a while, he was released early due to his reduced sentence. During this time, his wife, who had just gotten married to him, suffered a miscarriage, and chose to move abroad to start a new life. The luxury apartment where the crime occurred was left abandoned, its doors sealed tight, and the place had a cold, eerie feel to it. Yan Weisheng's parents also moved away from their original home to Perak State. Interestingly, after returning to his parents' house, Yan Weisheng decided to study theology again and became a missionary. He chose to live a quieter life, starting fresh and leaving his past behind. Even though Yan Weisheng had once been well known because of the case, he started going by an English name, and most people didn't know that the soft-spoken missionary had once been involved in such a shocking incident. It's said that, in his late 40s, Yan Weisheng found new purpose in life, working hard to leave behind the dark chapters of his past. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and if you want me to cover any other cases, feel free to leave a comment below. Next time, we'll uncover more hidden stories.